The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Fantastic Forum, assemble. You're watching Fantastic Forum, the premier show about comic books and your live weekly conversation about entertainment and geek culture. We are the Fantastic Forum, coming to you live and direct from the Hall of F. Hope every wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, as the case would be, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're not, you should stick with us because we'll help you take it up a notch. You have the usual suspects in the building. First, he is a riddle inside of an enigma trapped in Chinese finger cuffs. You don't know him. You love him anyway. He's our silent assassin, Jay.
Hey, what's up?
What's up with you, Jay? I love it. Like, I don't know. So, like, you're staring right down the middle of that camera, Jay, and I'm just like, is my friend okay? You all right, Jay? Everything's going okay? Who do we need to beat up? I got you.
Oh, dude. Don't beat up anybody. Like, they're not worth it.
Okay. All right. Listen.
But you are. So we need to look out for you.
We gonna mess around and put like salt in their cocoa or something, man. Because, dude, I don't know. I don't like that.
Shit in their cocoa.
I mean, I'm not gonna do that.
Me neither.
but hey, that man with the plan that you just heard, that's the backbone, the pillar, the strength of Fantastic Forum, our invulnerable brawler and resident strongman, Moses Magnum.
Yeah, Larry, you're so mean, Larry. Like, Jay's got good lighting, and you always got something to say.
Oh, you're saying I'm mean because I didn't compliment Joe on his good lighting?
Yeah.
You know what? You are absolutely right. Like, and understand that I think it's because his setup is so good right now. That's probably what, like, I was like, whoa. Like, I'm like, Jay stared right into my soul. and I'm like, why does he hate me? What did I do? And I was like, oh, wait, that's not me. That's something else happening. Like, it's not me. So that's why I was like, let me check on my friend and make sure he's okay. Because I was like, dude, oh no. But yeah, look, no, you actually, like, the lighting is good, Jay, and you know, I mean, your camera's even like closer.
He got soft skin effect. He's killing it. He's killing it.
Hey, listen, I don't know about the soft skin effect, but
you just feel like you want to, like, yeah.
Whoa. Oh, okay, there it is. My name is Lawrence Young. They call me Mayor Young. Welcome to Fantastic Forum. Oz, our friggin' resident Dark Knight detective, should be here in just a moment. He's rebooting and such, so you know you'll see him pop in, I'm sure. But yeah, but we have a great show for you today because we are going to be talking to you all about Creepshow in Love #1, and we're also going to be having a discussion about some of our favorite couples in comic books. So we'll be talking about that. And you know, we're gonna do a little bit of Invincible talk too. And so we got all that happening. And we'll tell you how, like, of course, whatever else it is that you all want to talk about, and we'll tell you how it is you can do that in just a moment. Before we do that, though, we want to make sure that we thank Mr. Scott Rubin, because without him, this show would not exist. So thank you, Scott Rubin. And with that said, let's have the intern do their thing.
Want to get in on the action? Call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? That's okay. You can join the Discord chat room available at
fantasticforum.live.
Join the party. You know you want to.
Indeed. So yeah, fantasticforum.live is the way to do it. You can go ahead and right now, if you called in, you'd be the 4th member of Fantastic Forum. So you can always do that. You know, if you want to talk about our topics today, or if you have something else that you want to add, if you're a little shy, you're like, hey, I don't know if I'm ready for that level of participation, you can always jump into chat, whether that be through YouTube or through Twitch, and we'll take your comments directly out of chat and bring them into the show. So feel free to do either or. Um, with that said, gents, yeah, it's good to see you all. You everybody doing all right? All right enough? Like, okay, like I see all the happy faces. So yeah, looks like everybody's great. I see it. I'm feeling the love in the air. Look, there it is. So um while I have you two here, oh, there, boom, Oz is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. It's Oz.
Now,
What?
You said now?
all right, go ahead.
Like, okay, Oz in the building. He may be on a little bit of a delay. He may not be though. We'll see. But I did want to talk to you all. I mean, obviously we did mention when the news broke I guess a couple weeks ago now at this point, about Diamond filing Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
Yeah.
But since that's happened, we've had two publishers at this point talk about how they're going to have to reduce their basically their the number of employees. Both IDW and Dark Horse have basically said they're going to be doing some layoffs. And so Dark Horse said that they're going to have to reduce their staff by 10%. And then I know that IDW basically confirmed that they're going to be laying off some people, and then that included the some like senior vice president positions, and maybe even a VP or two. So, in light of the Diamond news and this, I just wanted to take the temperature of what you all thought about what's happening in the industry right now. Like, I know, like Moses, I know, you were in the retail space back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts about some of this news, and how do you feel like it might be affecting the today's market?
Well, I actually, because I was in the retail space, that was a while ago. So I wanted to, just like you, I wanted to get the pulse and probe the prostate of the industry. So I went into a comic book store today and talked to the owner of Pulp Fiction for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about this very issue too, where it's like, it's really gonna, it's like looking bleak, but it's looking bleak for example, like your IDWs, your Dark Horses, like
Mm-hmm.
that's it's almost a direct connection in the sense that like IDW did a thing where and Marvel did it too, but Marvel's bigger and they can handle it, where basically everybody's working on credit, where
Mm-hmm.
IDW gets distributed through Penguin too, but Penguin like does it through Diamond. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So and nobody pays anybody except just the dealer. And then when it comes time to collect, like IDW gets screwed,
Right.
And that's part of what's happening, because now it's like their deal is not gonna go through and they're not gonna get paid. Well, we're not gonna get paid at IDW. And then Dark Horse did a different thing, but they kind of had a different idea to say focus more on graphic novel stuff than floppy books. So they're a little more protected, but not by much, because either way, they're still not getting their books sold. Like they have more avenues to sell books than just the comic book store space, and neither of them have really like dabbled into the digital sales as much as they should as a company, so I think that's where the future is. And we talked about that with the dude too, like how like I'm a digital guy, but I still go twice a month or so. There's
Mhm.
certain books I just like getting physical, and I like discovering new books. I like doing that physically, you know.
Right.
And
Right.
it's you're always gonna count on me at least for just buying stuff or stuff I like. You know, the white covers you can't do digitally. You know, like
Right.
so. You know, I got a red cover today, but for Strange Academy #1. But uh yeah, so it's gonna be, you know, like how we always kind of predicted, Larry, like it's the future might be where it's like almost a nichier market than
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
it is. But it sucks for business in the sense that
Right.
I mean this guy's got he's got bills to pay, and people's got jobs. So
Right. There are people getting
but
screwed.
the ones getting screwed most are the workers and the you know reminds me of a lot of it's like a microcosm of Marxist ideology. It's like one step
Mhm.
in the program before revolt, but nobody gets to revolt.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like Jay, I know you primarily, you pretty much do all your books digital at this point. Uh, is there like the prospect of maybe even more shops like shutting down, smaller publishers potentially shutting down in light of like what's happening from the business perspective in the comic book industry? How does that make you feel about where the industry's at, and do you have any concerns about seeing the kind of books that you might like?
Um, yeah, I'm definitely worried about the smaller publishers. Um, your Radio Comics, your Antarctic Presses. Um, I do worry about them.
Right.
Um, yeah, I get my stuff digitally, but you know, it's better for the industry as a whole if our brick and mortars are running.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, it's interesting because I mean I know I feel that way too, but I don't know. Like there's some people it feels like that are making the argument like this is like the stagnation of the industry might be due to us trying to hold on to the old ways of how the comic book industry was, as opposed to like moving forward with whatever, like kind of like trying to stay with the current trends. I mean, what do you think about that, Jay? Does that feel like a true kind of statement, or do you feel like no, like where it might have been fine the way it is with just a few tweaks here and there?
yeah, we could definitely use some tweaking. Um, and I think part of the what would be considered stagnation
Hmm.
comes from old mindsets.
Hmm.
So it's like, yeah, the comic book industry can use some change,
Right.
especially with digital distribution being a thing. Um, there's no reason why a print book should be the same price as a digital book. Uh, and you have like a lot of old ideas, kind of gripping the industry, which does help for the stagnation. But I think it is something that can be tweaked,
Hmm.
something that can easily be adjusted and fixed.
Hmm.
And you can give the purists what they want, their physical copies. Um, Also, your specialty, like your white covers,
Hmm.
um, your fucking red band books,
Yeah.
which should be digital. I mean, that's some bullshit, dude. That's part of the stagnation.
Mm.
But there's always going to be room for physical media, and there are always going to be books, editions. You get those limited covers out there, limited edition covers. You get those. I mentioned the white covers.
Right.
Like, there's definitely ways to appeal to collectors and to get them like something they feel is worth it in order to keep them coming into the brick and mortar stores week after week.
Right.
There are ways to do that. We just got to tweak the system a little bit.
Okay. Now, Oz, your boys over at DC, when the pandemic happened and Diamond basically just decided to stop publishing, or I'm sorry, stop distributing comics. DC and the folks over there, basically that's when they decided to start trying to do their own thing with creating a new type of distribution method, which they took a lot of flack for, which we talked about it back then. They took a lot of flack for that from a lot of people when they made that choice. And right now it's looking like that alternative distribution method for comics might be like the saving grace of the industry right now, because if things had happened, like if this had happened, I guess I should say, and there was no alternative method, then the industry would have just been like grinded to a halt altogether. What are you thinking in regards to the decision that DC made back then? And, does this kind of like justify what they were doing, you think?
I think it's a band-aid on a bigger wound that's ultimately, I don't know how much of a difference it's going to make. I never liked Diamond's distribution model, and I think Mo could probably tell me if I'm wrong, but they sell the stores however many books they buy, and the store now owns those. It's not like they're holding them. Whatever sells, they sell. Whatever they don't, they can return or do whatever they want. And that's always been a little bit weird for me. But look, I'm one of the guys that have fought digital for a long time, and now like all my music is digital. My games are starting to all be digital, and I think the store is just something that we're gonna end up losing. If I pick up a book and I like it, and I want to see like the books that came before it, like I want the whole story, I can go through long boxes, spend all that time looking for them like we always done, or I can go in the app and it'll give me all those books that I want, and I can just have them. I wish the price was lower for digital. Like it shouldn't be the same price as physical, but ultimately it's a better model.
Digital's the better model, you're saying?
Yeah, just because of the things like that. Like you and me, us here on the phone, like we did that as kids. We don't mind going through long boxes. Like that's just what we did.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Well,
I enjoy going through long boxes.
Jay might hate it, but
I was saying no, I don't mind. Like, I think in my head, no, like I don't mind going through long boxes. That is like a joy
legit,
to do.
Legit, my happy place sometimes is like,
well, we could all probably admit to doing this, where we see a long box, we don't know what's in it, we don't know, and we just start looking through it, no matter what, even if we don't have a plan to buy. Like,
right.
But how
not labeled? It's like, oh my god, it could be treasure in there.
That's why I know Harriet Tubman Vampire Slayer exists.
Yeah. That's how I met. Was it Rib, the the Rib, Andrew M. Ford's Rib, the Caterpillar comic.
Moses, like
But
I don't know what we're talking about, Moses. What are you talking about?
It's a really great comic about a giant grub that lives among humans.
he talked about that like 8 years ago.
Like,
He's talked about it
The
on this
rib
show.
from 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Got it.
I'm sitting here like, did he just pull that number out his backside, or does he actually remember from 8 years ago? I'm like, I don't even know.
I remember the conversation, and I know it was before we went to video, so I can kind of gauge the timeline.
Okay, yeah, man. Well, hey,
Yeah.
But
hey,
look, even just last week, I bought Amber issue 1 of Spider-Man Noir. She liked it. She said, "Give me the other one. Give me the rest." I don't have time to go to the comic book shop and hope that they have the other 4. So I went to a comic shop online that had like an online store and got them there. So she's still getting physical copies, but I was one step away from just going to an app and say, "Here you go."
right,
Downloading them.
right. So, yeah, man, there it is. We do have a caller. Been very patient. Hecht's in the building. What up, Hecht?
What's up, man?
Hey, man. Hecht, you've been listening to the conversation we've been having in regards to the current state, the comic book industry, and some of the things happening with Diamond as the distributor, and some of the layoffs that are beginning to happen with some of the publishers of comics. What's your take, Hecht? Are you at all concerned about physical comic shops going away?
Well, first off, I'm concerned that Jay and Mo didn't do more for the workers, but I don't know if they were slacking or not at IDW.
Listen, Jay put his foot
were they
right on their backsides, like, get out.
Well,
That's
Jay
how
and I
Jay works.
started a
Night
department
Riders or what?
of. We did a thing called. Do I do the? It's the Department of IDW Efficiency. So Jay and I headed that department together, and we started cutting the fat.
Damn.
Okay.
How much did you
Yeah.
save the
I'm-
company though?
Do I do
Why isn't it just like, did we?
See, you should have headed the efficiency department.
Just like, why?
Obviously, the title wasn't efficient enough.
He said, "Do I do that?"
Half of the budget was going to the acronym.
Yeah.
I
Well, no,
don't.
we used AI for that.
But
I don't
yeah,
think we're gonna lose. I don't think we're gonna lose the stores. Like the main comic shop down here, they were smart enough to kind of diversify.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's a comic shop, but they also have like a tabletop game section.
Yeah.
And then a vinyl section. And it's not in one
Yeah.
store, it's like 3 stores next to each other. But it's
Mhm.
all the same store.
Right.
So I think the main thing is that the comic book store in general has to diversify from just straight comics. Because if you're just relying on comics, I know every time I go to the comic shop, there's maybe 1 or 2 people looking around. And you ain't making money if it's just 1 or 2 people potentially buying.
Dude, most of the
Right.
comic
And
book
then-
shops are pop stores now.
Yeah.
They're what?
Funko.
They're
Oh, yeah.
pop
Pop shops.
stores. Yeah, that's true. I mean, a lot of comic shops rely.
A third of Comic Con was Funko Pop.
And I'm not mad at it. In the sense that like
It's keeping them alive. It's
it's
printing
a
money
retail
for them.
space, and it's like it's not like I'm gonna switch from buying comics to buying pops. I'm just gonna buy those too,
Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
and that's kind of one of the conversations we had with the owner over at Pulp Fiction today, where it was like I talked to the dude for like 2 hours. Man, I wish I would have recorded it, but it was basically like in retail, like at the end of the day, it's a retail business, and we get creative with how we make money, because we don't have to rely just on one product. We do
Right.
impulse buys, we do sales, we do specials, we do bundles, we do, in comics. And then even I compared it to my business, where it's like certain market conditions are going to make it so that I can't make as much as I can. So how can I maximize each sale? Where that's like it's basically the McDonald's model: fries and a soda. You create a loss leader and charge less for that, but in volume you get more.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but and that's always in business. So even if like Heck says, like some of them will still stick around. It's like those are the ones that are gonna adapt and survive. Like business has always been a part of a microcosm of the world, where it is a life form and it's gonna have to adapt to the market conditions if it's gonna survive. If not, it's gonna go extinct. There's like, I mean, certain businesses that you would never think, like I could still find a dude to fix my shoes.
Yeah.
So it's like, now there's less of those dudes, but
Right.
those dudes sell like belts and hats and pops.
Yeah.
Pops, right? Shoe related pops.
Right, yeah. Yeah. So and then they became like, the like their kids added to the business by like selling high-end sneakers and stuff too, and then
Right.
but they learned how to fix and even renew old shoes, that
Right.
weren't meant to be renewed. So, and those are the few that are still around. Yeah.
Right. No, that's true. That's true.
It's like a store might close, but
Yeah.
the actual industry won't.
Yeah.
And I mean that
Really?
includes digital, but I know for my part, and I know younger generations that I'm related to,
Mhm.
they're into comics. They're not into digital comics.
Mhm.
They want the physical. So I don't think physical is going to go away ever. It might get reduced, but
Yeah.
it won't go away unless
What were you gonna
all
say?
the distribution goes away.
What were you gonna say, Oz?
talk about these. We talk about these shops possibly going away. I know a bunch of them in LA closed like over the last few years, but I'm always shocked that look. I live in the ass end of nowhere. When I tell people where I live, I have to like describe it geographically. Like, oh, 4 hours west of Chicago, and then they kind of have a clue.
Or ass end of nowhere, like, oh yeah, the ass end.
But where I live, within a 15-minute drive, I could go to 4 different comic shops.
Wow.
And that's not including. There's also the comics you can get at Barnes and Noble, and we have a Books a Million, which is like a different Barnes and Noble.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Yeah.
it's shocking that and they seem healthy. I don't always see a lot of people there, but they're still there, and they have the new stuff.
I
They
hadn't
have everything.
noticed that places like where Oz lives, like comic shops do a little better in the sense that their overhead, because the rent is cheaper,
Right.
and that's the
right.
biggest problem that we have here on our end
Mhm.
is the cost of rent and
Right.
and the means of production and stuff. It's a little higher here. The overhead's higher. So, but like when we even going to the Netherlands with Larry, like remember we saw it's like the comic shop there's like huge.
Yeah.
Like, it was great, but definitely one of those like they have in their business model too, and they had all long boxes. They had Gundams on top, American comics in the back, and then their local comic, European comics was mainly everything they sold. Yeah, but again,
man.
it's an easier economic system for them.
Right. Right.
They might have the same problems, but they just can handle them differently. Yeah.
I obviously I just hope that the comic book retail space is able to thrive in whatever form I guess makes sense.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, I'm not looking for the joint to, have some sort of any kind of unfair advantage, but like one of my earliest memories of like when I, when I say this one of my earliest memories about Fantastic Forum, and when I say this, I mean it like, if you watch Fantastic Forum, and anyone that knows me knows, like, I don't have the best memory, but
you didn't even remember Rib.
I listen. You put the picture up, and I still was like, I don't know what that is. Like, but one of like my like earliest memories of us doing the Fantastic Forum that and I just one of these things I just think about periodically. Like, I remember a little kid called in, and I don't remember where the kid was from, but I just remember him saying like there was no comic shops in the town that he lived, and it had never occurred to me until that moment that someone could live somewhere and couldn't get to a comic book shop. Like, it just, because especially back then, there was a lot more comic shops back then, especially in Los Angeles. And I was just like, it's just me being like privileged and thinking about things from a big city perspective, where I was like, oh man, this poor kid there's nowhere for him to go buy physical comics. And I was just like, oh man, it hurt my heart. And like I said, I think about it every so often, and especially like in these days where I'm just like, man, like, I don't want to be that little kid, where I'm just like, there's nowhere for me to get comics. I just got to order them online and hope they come.
Metaman in chat.
That was who?
Metaman in chat back in the day.
Oh, see, listen, I
don't know where he was at though, but he was probably where
Metaman.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, man, good stuff. But yeah. Keeping like we're all wishing for the best for all of these our publishers and all of our the staff that works for them. Like, we're hoping the people that did get laid off land on their feet somewhere. And hopefully things will turn around for the industry, but I don't know, man. We might be in the end days. I don't think the comics are going away, but we might definitely things are changing. So hopefully they change in a way that's positive. But
Jay said, sorry, go ahead, Hick.
I think at the moment it's more reflective of the total financial climate more than just comics. Like, it's everybody getting fucked, not just distribution wise and like that.
I hear that.
Wasn't there a paper shortage at one point?
That was part of it too. The means of production was halted and so even if you wanted to distribute, like, couldn't, because there's a paper shortage. But back kind of to Heck's comment too is Jay said something in the boardroom at IDW when we were making the decision to lay these people off. We're like, emphasis on the word laid because they're getting fucked. And I'm like, Jay, that is so insensitive. You can't say that. And he, look at him, he's still with glee for he's like,
It's okay, I got lube.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
Look, were you part of that meeting too? You should be. We can hire you. We got a lot of space now.
Oh, wow.
But no, but one of the yeah, it is. Emphasis on up. One of the I hate that I can't remember the dude's name. Like, I want to call him Gary, but I know that's not it. But the dude from Pulp Fiction is we came up with no solutions. But we had a great conversation for like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Right.
And I told them, like, the conclusion I came to is like that, as long as you have a community like what we're doing here, what we do at Comic-Con, what we do at the shops, like, there's part of what, it's not just a retail business, but it's also a business of people. And as long as the community is still together and can enjoy the idea of showing up on a Wednesday at a shop and talking to each other for 15, 20 minutes at a time, that's what's going to help. Because through that, you're going to, like, I gave him suggestions for comics to read, and TV shows to read. He talked to me about it, and then I told him stories about, my experiences with, like, doing what we do. And it's like, that community aspect is what's really going to strengthen it. And that, we're not going to let, Eddie, Jeffrey, Mike, the dudes we know starve. If they put on an event where it's like, hey, we're having like a comic book get together, like, we're gonna love to hang out with them and talk comics with them. You know,
Mhm.
Eddie. I see Eddie at every convention. I always stop to talk to him, even if I don't buy anything. You know, our dude Ed Davis from
Right.
Immortal Era. Every time we get a chance to talk to him, if we don't buy anything, we still talk to him, and that's the conventions are really like gonna be more of the retail space, if anything, but it's about that because that's the biggest form, the biggest example of the community that we have, this culture of comics, of pop culture, of fandom.
Right.
You know.
Well, we'll definitely have to come back and revisit this, and maybe we get some retailers on to talk to
Yeah.
us more about like some ideas or whatever. Bring Jeffrey on. Look,
Yeah.
I got another comic shop owner named Jeff. That's a good dude that I would love to get on the show. He's a East Coast Jeff. So it's like if I could find a Jeff comic shop owner in the Midwest, will officially have our council of Jeffs. You know what I'm saying? Like like we would definitely.
I could call him Jeff. It's not his name, but I can.
Right, he'll answer to it.
Yeah. Like I could call him my guy Jeff too, and then that way he could be part of that conversation too.
There it is.
Well, I speak Spanish. It's Jefe. I'm calling him Jefe.
Yeah, man. So change the topic. Invincible season 3 premiere. Did anybody get a chance to check that out at all?
I watched it.
I saw the first episode.
Yeah, I only saw the first episode myself. I wanted to watch more.
Oh,
I only
saw
watched
all 3.
I watched only half of the first episode.
I forget how long those episodes are.
They vary, right? They don't have like a standard length, do they?
Yeah.
I had
They're
planned
more
to
than half
catch
an
up.
hour, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. What were you saying, Hack?
I had planned to catch up, so I was going to start from the beginning and get up to. I only did episode 1.
Oh, of episode 1 of like season 1 or of like season 3?
Yeah, it's season 1.
Season 1, yeah, that's a fair.
So,
No, you should definitely take that ride, man.
Yeah, I'll get through it. I like.
Spoiler warning, Hack.
Yeah. Oh, hey, I'll forget by the time I get to season 3. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, what I could tell you, I didn't catch up on season 2, and what I could tell you about watching season 1, it's like watching it is still a ride. Like I was even hesitant about talking about it at all, just because it's like, what am I doing? I know I'm gonna love it, but I didn't realize it's gonna be like this.
I'll say this: I saw The Boys like 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
Because I'm like, oh, everybody likes these shows. I'll get into it too. I didn't like The Boys. I just saw the first episode. I wasn't. I liked the concept, but I wasn't into it.
Okay, listen. Look, we're gonna have
You might
to
need to
table
read
that
the comics,
conversation,
yeah.
Hank, because I would love at a different time to talk to you about why you didn't like The Boys, because that's a good conversation. So cool.
Next time.
Right. Jay, what did you think of the premiere for Invincible since you saw all 3?
Oh, very, very strong start to a new season.
You look like you got secrets, Joe. Joe
No,
look
just
like you.
The Oliver kid, man. He's gonna end up doing something.
That's a little brother.
Yeah.
That's what I like. Watching the first episode to the point that I got to that was like the highlight for me. Like they show a bunch of cool shit happening. Like there's a whole fight before him just hanging with his brother, But I really enjoyed them just hanging with the brother. And one of the criticisms I have about animation these days is they have no music in the background, and this had no music, but that helped this particular story. Like you're just there with them, and I can't wait to catch up.
Mo out here showing favoritism now. Before, no music was a problem. Now
again, it's an artistic choice, and that could be detrimental, or you could have too much. I'll flip flop.
That's fair.
Part of being an intelligent individual is seeing when things work and when things don't.
Hey, and that is fair, right? There it is.
Yeah, fine.
We also got some more info on Cecil that I feel like we didn't get in the book, which was kind of cool.
Really? Oh,
Yeah, they like show one of his first missions before he becomes like the guy we all know
got you.
and mistrust. But we kind of trust him a little because
Right.
we know he's
Right.
doing it for the right reason. We're just not sure what we like what he's doing.
Hey man, look, see, Cecil has a mission, and if you getting screwed is how that mission gets accomplished, and guess what's gonna happen? You gonna get screwed.
What's about the
Right.
That's
greater
why you
good?
can't trust Cecil. Because you're like, no, man, wait,
Did
I
a
thought we
cat
were
scratch
homies.
him and make his face all fucked up like that? Is that what?
Say again?
Did a cat
Did a
scratch
cat
him?
scratch him in the face to give him the scars? Is that?
No, he got blew the fuck up.
But
as happens from time to time.
They did talk about that a little bit in the comic, right? About him getting blown up, or no? I feel like that was something I kind of knew a little bit of. Like, it sounds familiar, you know?
I don't recall this. Like what
Yeah.
happens here, I don't recall happening in the comic.
Okay.
They might have mentioned it or something
Yeah.
like that, and you're remembering that.
Like my imagination memory.
And I feel like I
Right.
got through most of the ancillary material, so
Like
I might
Guardians
have
of the
missed
Globe.
it. Yeah, like I might have missed an issue or two of Guarding the Globe.
Yeah.
So maybe they do.
I think that's where I read where I saw some of it. But yeah, but again, I don't know. Like what you were explaining here, I don't. It's not what I pictured. I just knew like it wasn't so secret, you know. But again, this ride, like even with spoilers, you're gonna enjoy it.
Yeah. How'd you feel about issue 1, Oz? Did you like it? Or issue 1? I'm sorry, episode 1.
Well, I've been a fan since it started, and it's more of the same. I like seeing how what's happened has affected Invincible to this point where, at least in the first episode, he's like starting to cut loose a little bit. Like when he's fighting that dude that multiplies and just starts murdering the duplicates, like he's not holding back like he used to.
Yeah, multi-Paul.
And I mean, it's
I love that. I love that.
That's a great
multi-Paul.
Every other season of Ultramite shows up and kicks his ass and like beats him within the inch of his life. So now he's like, "Fuck it, I got to do what I got to do." I don't know why I've been holding back so long.
Dude, that opening scene when he's like training with this huge monster, and it's the monster's like an 8-year-old kid, and it's like, oh fuck, like you're mean, that shit was wild, dude. You know, you think he's having this battle because he's not holding back with that kid either, but he's like kind of training him. But it just like you think it's a battle and he's just being cocky and taunting, and then he once you realize it's a kid, like he actually is kind of being mean if he's training this kid. but this kid's like 40 feet tall and a big cyclopean monster. You know? But yeah, it's just crazy. Like I would give just the recap a 5 out of 5. I'm like, holy fuck, I didn't miss all this.
Right. I was about to say, Mo, that's what I was coming to you next to ask you. Like, what's your thought? Like, are you gonna like try to like go back and watch season 2?
I have to,
yeah. Oh, dude, it's good stuff. You're gonna like it.
I felt like I read an issue of a comic that like I loved, but it's like thinking, oh, okay, this is where I could just jump on. I can't. Like I people can watch this and be the first thing, but you're gonna need that recap. But either way, they're gonna have to. Again, the long box. You got to go through a long box to get the rest of it. You know, like and so I can't just start and go. Like, you know, I watched the first season, and then I didn't do any of the second season either parts. So I think maybe like the first episode, but that's about it. Like. I want to binge it really, but at this point I can.
You can binge season 2, right? Yeah.
It's like, I'm gonna break my treadmill because I'll be watching this motherfucker.
So that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
It is possible to just jump in this season, but you get so much more if you watch the rest.
Did they already do the
Omni-Man and Alan, like just their history and how they
Yeah.
got to where they are. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot there.
Yeah.
Did they already do the rape?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
That should be coming soon.
Yeah. There was a scene in the recap that might have happened, but I'm like, because I recognize the character again
Right.
from reading the comics. Like I can recognize, but I know it's a little different. But and then again in motion, it's very different.
Yeah.
Turns out my imagination sucks. Just from seeing the recaps.
Yeah.
So
It's-
okay.
It's interesting because like we got this season that's coming out, and then also I feel like maybe, if I'm not mistaken, from timing wise, maybe just as the season ends, they're actually launching a Battle Beast comic. So like we're actually getting like a new like Invincible book, like from the team, like from Kirkman and Otley.
Yeah.
So I'm actually really looking forward to that. Even though I'm like,
we all love a cash grab.
Well, my thing is more so like there are a lot of interesting characters in the Invincible universe, and I know Battle Beast is a favorite, but he's not my personal favorite.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh, like okay, but I guess I guess that makes sense because the people do like that character. So we'll see. I'm interested just to see what it is, and just to be in that universe again in comic form. So that's cool. So.
Jay, are the other episodes the same length? Because the first one's like almost like 40 minutes, I think.
I believe they are about the same length.
Oh man, I hate it and I love it. Like,
oh man,
yeah, because I didn't get to finish because I was watching it like right before coming on to do the show. Like, it's like I was gonna try my best to catch up, but I was like, chances are I would. But I'm like, you know what? Let me just watch this episode. And then it's like 45 minutes. God damn. but I enjoy it. The minutes I did get to see, I enjoyed a lot. So can't wait to go back to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Tiger Claws in chat. He says maybe Battle Beast is popular with the furries. It could be why. And it's like
yeah, but he's not cuddly.
I mean, it depends on how you caress him.
I know I want to grab his jaw like this, but hey, low key, we have similar sideburns.
There it is. All right, you guys ready to review a comic book?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take it as a yes. Let's review some comics.
We're on the delay like Oz.
Comic book review.
Comic book
Like review.
Well, not like that, but like.
All right. So, Creepshow in Love, #1, which, I'm pretty sure this is a one shot. So, it has a #1. I don't think there's going to be a #2. But, or maybe, who knows? Sometimes cats will do, like, if they're going to do this annually, maybe #2 will come out next year, but who knows? #1 might be. It might be a #1 next year too if they do it. But this is a Creepshow comic book put out by Skybound and Image, or the Skybound imprint on Image under Image, and it has a few different writers and artists basically doing 3 stories of horror and love and love and horror. So let's talk about it. Like, Jay, we all know how much you love horrible things or horrendous things. So what's your thought of Creepshow in Love #1? Like,
this book was fun.
Mm-hmm.
They have some pretty cool Creepshow type stories by writers that I actually really enjoy. Mirka Andolfo is one, and I forget my man Horvat's first name.
Patrick
Horvat. who did Beneath the Trees.
Mhm.
And I forget the third guy, but you know,
Yo Pyong-oh.
Yeah.
right. I don't know him, but his story was probably the funniest one.
It was the wildest one for sure.
Right.
And like when you talk about like dudes like Patrick Horvath and Mirka Andolfo, like we've known that their stories are kind of off the wall, even when they are like action, adventure, horror, love, whatever, you know. So you're gonna get it off the wall. But the one Yo Pyong Oh, and like, is like that was really off the fucking wall. Like, fucking Rod Serling would be like, "What the fuck?" Yeah. But yeah, that was just like because again that was like I think I love Mirka, I love Patrick Horvath, but like that one really like it was like the fuck is this shit? But it fits like the theme, and it's like, and he gets it's just deserved too, like the guy. So it's like it really has that like kind of Twilight Zone-y feel more than the other ones. Yeah.
Right.
And the art was so cutesy for it too.
Yeah. I loved it.
Yeah.
Very, very kawaii.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
overall,
go ahead.
just a good Creepshow experience.
Yeah, and look, and that's really something I did want to ask you all about, because like Moses, I know like not only are you a fan of like the show, but you've been a fan of Creepshow the comic for a minute. It's like,
This
do you feel like
iteration for sure, and then the movies like Stephen King and George Romero working together. Like to me, it's like that's that's the shit.
right?
Yeah.
But do you feel, or how do you feel like this book encapsulated the feel for Creepshow, or how much do you feel like it did?
Well, it definitely felt like Creepshow. And then all the themes of like romance and romance gone awry, is kind of like that's the thing about. It's what I love about horror as a genre too, because right now like the book came out at this time because it is like Valentine's Day week, but you're most vulnerable when you're trying to find love or get love or give love, and so having it be scary is like that people fear. Like I remember going on a date once with this chick early in my early years of dating, and I'm like, what if she turns out to be a dude? Like, but I was like, I'm having a good conversation here. Like, I like talking to her. Like, what if she turns out to be a dude? Like, what am I gonna do then? Because it's like, I like hanging out with her. So it's like I was like, or what if she tries to steal my kidneys and shit? Like I was a very fearful. I'm a very fearful person. I'm not a scaredy cat. I'm not afraid of things, but fear does rule a lot of like my decision making or lack of decision making. Yeah, whether it's like the OCD shit or whatever. Like we don't want to this. We don't have enough time today for this, but yeah. But like, I mean, Larry, you and I were talking about getting on a plane. Like, I just got comfortable flying because I did
Right.
this flight I've ever done in my life with, when we went to the Netherlands. It's like now I can't do that shit anymore. Like, I could die in 3 minutes. Yeah, so it's like just when everything was fine, just when you thought it was ready to go, it was fine to go back into the air.
Yeah.
And that, so I love that, like this horror Valentine's theme collaboration or mashup is because love is becoming vulnerable, is putting down your defenses, and that's why there's
Right.
some horror stories in real life, and it's usually from chicks, like the dudes are usually the monsters, but it happened, vice versa too. I'm sure I've seen documentaries about it, but so this one does really feel like a perfect fit for like a horror comic could come out in Valentine's Day. Like I love everything about it. Like, and the people they chose to do it, because these people they have a quirky sense of humor, sense
Right.
of expressing their art is quirky too. Like yeah, whether it's Mirka Andolfo or Patrick Horvath. Like I mean, dude, like reading. I mean, I bought the trade paperback. I bought every issue Beneath the Trees, and then I bought the trade paperback too. You know, because it's like I love looking at it. You know, like little teddy bears. Oh, he spilled this jelly. You know, oh, blood. You know, like, so that's sardonicism that these people have already in their previous work that drew me to this.
Right.
And then here, it's just like the greatest like festival where they're all together, like arts festival or a music festival, where you see everybody that kind of fits the same theme, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the new Discovery was the third one, so I'm like, I got to see what they do next, you know.
Right.
Got to keep
Right.
an
No,
eye on their
absolutely.
career.
It was definitely an interesting choice of creators to put on this book. And like the reality is like I as well was not as familiar with the third set of creators, but the fact is like the two people they went with is like Mirka and Patrick. It's like, yeah, it wouldn't matter what the book was, as far as like if I see an anthology series and like those two names are in it, I'm like, oh well, I should check that out just to see what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like it could have been horror, could have been sci-fi, could have been fantasy, could have been crime. I don't care. So you know, yeah, I agree. Um, Oz, how did you end up liking this book, especially I know like a big thing for you is always the art. How did you feel about like the different art, types of art in the book, and like tonally in regards to how it relates to the genre with horror and all that?
Well, I mean, you all know I love me some Merca.
Right.
So obviously the first story was my favorite, and it is a little weird because she did do the heart anime eyes, and I had just because I'm gonna go see Captain America for Valentine's Day, and
Nice.
I saw that there's a movie that's Heart Eyes. It's like a horror. It's a horror movie coming out this weekend, and like the dude has those heart eyes, and it was just like messing with my head. But yeah, I really like
Pretty
that
good
story.
movie.
Oh, you seen it? Okay,
Yeah, it's pretty good.
watch it again. Take Lauren's video. So yeah, I really like that because it's obviously I love her art, and she's a pretty good writer too. So it's just a weird story. And same thing with the second one, the Hobart story. Like it's just weird. Like
Yeah.
it's just like weird nonsense. It's just fun to read.
Yeah.
The third one I wasn't as into, but the art was kind of cutesy, and I did like looking at the pictures. So it kept my attention, you know.
Do you feel that the cutesy art like made you feel for the girl, like having her brain taken out?
A little bit, like
Yeah.
to be honest, I wasn't expecting that to happen, which is probably a bonus for the book because they start off on a date, and
Yeah.
like I thought she was the main character, like she's this cute little anime looking girl,
Yeah.
and just a page later, like, well, okay. I mean, she technically is still a main character, but okay.
Right. Right.
Look,
Yeah. It was. Oh, go ahead, Mo.
No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say it was like the final story was definitely like the one, at least for me, where I was just like, wow, like what is happening? Like like it, and it's just like a very strange, like there's a lot of like suspension of disbelief that kind of has to go on for you just to like be in that story. But I feel like the story, like the way it's presented, does like a good job of like putting you in that space and like taking you for the ride to like allow for that suspension.
Well, that's the thing about Creepshow, where they do have like kind of off the walls, like some of the stories can be pretty ungrounded.
It's almost like fantasy, it's like horror fantasy in a sense.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, that's the type of thing that would happen in a Creepshow show or movie. Like, yeah.
And even like the metaphorical, like if you want to get elevated about it, you don't have to. You can enjoy it. But like think about like it's a dude that preys on his dates and just we think about like a malignant narcissist, like takes over their brain, and does whatever he wants with their body. Like that's kind of like a metaphor for that type of toxic relationship, but in a horror sense. They present it to you this way, but there's people that have lived similar things, and and they don't turn into a penguin. Like they're just fucked.
Hecht, you read this book, right?
Yeah.
So which one of these stories spoke to you the most?
The first story, the serial killer, because it was, I don't know, something about it. I was like, "Aw!" at the end.
he found his heart.
Yeah, he found his perfect love, and it's stupid. It's fucking stupid if you read the story, but it was.
I mean, they're all
a happy
stupid,
ending.
though.
Yeah, they are. But I mean, I like the whole comic. Like, I liked every story.
Yeah.
The art in the second one kind of, I won't say it fucked me up, but I wasn't into it.
Yeah.
But I like the story. It was a stupid story. Like, they're all stupid stories, but I liked it. It's fun. It's like watching a horror movie that's comedy and just stupid fun. You can sit back and just whatever.
Right.
And again, this is one of those, like when you talk about like bad horror movies, like they become good in the sense that you interact with people talking about it. And that's how this comic is too.
Yeah,
it becomes an experience.
Yeah.
It's like one of those movies that shows up at a little artsy theater at like midnight, like, hey, we got this going on, check this out, and then it's crazy Valentine stories.
That feels like that's what Creepshow is all about.
Yeah, it is, and I love one thing you don't get in the Creepshow show is the in between banter with the creep. Like he doesn't really talk when you watch the show. Like that's the Trails from the Crypt thing.
Yeah.
But in the comic, he's a chatty motherfucker. So that's what I love about the Creepshow comics myself is you get more of a personality for the creep. I love the format. These like EC horror, like Tales from the Crypt, and these anthology ones. Creepy from Dark Horse is another one that I love too, because that's more Twilight Zoney, but it is towards the horror-y. But it's more just sardonic humor and nihilistic humor, and then Creepshow right now is like these comics have been knocking them out. Like they are really like a combination of all of those that I've loved as a kid here, in comic form. Like they just knock it. They have that's one of the things I was gonna say earlier. Is that I do want to see like more of some of the comic stories done in the show, like in live action, because that'd be cool. I mean, they have a great team of people that write the stuff for the TV shows, but like a lot of the comic ones are really good too. Like like the Becky Cloonan story, like every one of these. Like if they were to do this as a special Valentine's episode, like. I would love to see like the especially that third story as live action.
That's beyond. Now, I will say that if I did have a criticism of this book,
Fuck you, Larry, man.
The criticism of this book, I would have to say, is I didn't feel like any of the artists had like a great rendition of the creep inside the book.
Oh, okay.
Which I thought was a little wild, just because it's like, it's like, I mean, the mascot, the kind of the franchise. Now, don't get me wrong, I do agree that, or I understand that each person has like their own kind of distinctive art style as well, and so that might have played into it a little bit. But I don't know. Like, am I alone in feeling like the version of the creep in each, like from each artist, was just kind of like I would know who it was, but it feels like a slightly off brand version,
I
to
thought
me.
it was a different creep for every story. That's how it came off.
Yeah, and that's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be the same guy.
The same one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
And
didn't even connect until you started talking about it right now. Like, oh, it's the same
Yeah.
creep.
Yeah.
I had to because I did read it digitally, so I definitely like my favorite, the best rendition for me was the third one.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
yeah, like I didn't focus. I focused more on what they were saying because when you watch the show, you don't hear him talk that much, so
Right.
because they'll cut to like a comic panel and you have to read. So you're watching a TV show and you have to read. Yeah.
Right.
So like the third one is this. Let's see if let's see. And that I felt was like the best rendition out of the three artists.
Yeah.
But
the cover was good.
Yeah.
Like the cover nails it. So
Yeah.
but in comparison, like I know for me, it's like
the American Dolphin ones, like you don't even see them, like it's just right there at the top panel.
Yeah, that's like the worst one in the book.
Yeah. I actually low key, like I do love like that design, like that picture in her art style. I do enjoy it, but it is not like you can't trademark that, Like he could be Green Arrow after like being found dead,
Exactly.
Like because the traditional ones are more like a leprous corpse dude, like right there, and then in the cover, like the covers always nail it,
Yeah, the cover's great.
I remember buying it digitally, like they censored the cover because of it's kids with their eyes out, teenage love, and so they're like, I'm like, what do you mean I can't look at the cover? What the fuck? Yeah.
And that's a good ass cover.
Yeah, and that's a standard cover. And then they did I don't know what the other covers are, but I know like Chris Burnham did one, and Mick Randolfo and Patrick Horvath did a cover too. So I just don't know what.
If you look at the pink page, it's like the next page. They have the three covers there. They're just really small.
Oh, those are it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it tells you who did them. Like what?
Okay. So that's what it. So it's the puree. Like so, it's the three artists of each. Okay. If that's what the covers are, like, you know what? I like the OG cover. Like,
yeah, the one we got with this one is probably the better one.
Yeah, and but so, Larry, I would like for you to watch the show because like they have like I think like Crystal's Gage has done an episode, like Paul Dini.
Really?
Paul Dini writes like 3 episodes each season, like. So it's like people you already like
still come on.
Yeah, it's still there, but they just take their time with seasons. But I've taken my time in watching them. But every time I watch it, I'm like, oh, I know that guy. Joe Hill writes like an episode every season or 2 episodes every season.
I could see that.
And so you get really good. Like they use comic book writers because the idea of Creepshow is a comic book, even though you're seeing it in an anthology movie or show.
Right.
But they write it as a comic book, so they get comic book writers to do a lot of the scripts. Not all of them, but definitely they use a lot of comic book like people that we know and love what they've done in comics. So you're gonna have a good time watching a lot of them. Even they're not even that scary, like where you're gonna like, have to change your
didn't like the
pattern.
House of the Head.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, but I think he could watch it. Like it's easier for him to watch that than like Midsummer, you know.
That link I threw
Yeah.
in private chat shows the other covers.
It looks like they put out a season like every couple of years.
Yeah. They
The
take
last
their
one was
time
in
with it.
2023.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's still ongoing.
Cool.
Yeah.
So does anybody got anything else they
Oh
want to say
wow,
about
that
Creepshow
I love that.
Creepshow and Love before we do some rating? What are you guys looking at? The covers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want me to put them in?
Oh yeah, see Oz. Those weren't the covers, man. like, yeah.
I'm pretty
You
sure
lied
those were
to me, Oz.
That's the
Hey,
interior art.
I just read the page.
Yeah,
Here,
but
I'll
that's
put
not it.
Oh, you got it.
I got it. Yeah, let's see. There's that one.
Yeah,
That's
this
the
is
Mirka
much
and
better
Dolphin.
than the...
Yeah, man, I love that cover.
That's a better Creepshow than the one she
Yeah.
put in the book.
And then this is
Yeah,
the Patrick
definitely.
Horvath. Yeah,
I like that one for the candy.
yeah. No, the candy, like, and then all the stuff that it says, like, yeah. I love that shit. Yeah, I'm a big Valentine's Day dude. Like, I'm a romantic. Yeah,
Everyone knows this about
Mo's the
Yeah.
hopeless romantic.
not hopeless. I'm hopeful. I got a wife and she loves me. But that's the only thing I have hope in life is her love for me. And once that ends, watch out. You guys are all fucked.
And on that note, let's rate Creepshow in Love #1. Hecht, what would you rate Creepshow in Love #1?
I give it a solid 4.
Cool.
For the most part, I liked every story, and the art was pretty good all the way around.
There it is. Oscore, what would you rate Creepshow in Love #1?
I'll go with 5. It's worth getting. It's really good art. The stories are fun. If you want to be scared, it's not going to do that. But I think if you've read or watched Creepshow before, you know it's not supposed to scare you. It's supposed to just be fun.
Okay, cool. Moses Magnum, what would you rate Creepshow in Love #1?
It's a 5, dude. Like, it's everything I love about Creepshow, and I love thematic comics. Like, if you've been with us here, I love doing Christmas comics. I love doing horror. I like adding horror to every. I love the holidays, and I love adding the stuff I like to holiday, whether it's horror comics or horror comics, heavy metal. Like I have a whole heavy metal Christmas playlist. Like I love holidays. So definitely like this fits like my comic book needs for like this week.
This holiday season.
Yeah, it's like this is where we have the lull. That's why we have to create these marketed holidays because we don't got nothing till Easter. Yeah. So
right.
So yeah, so I love it. Like it fits every box. It ticks every box. Things I like, and the execution of it was like the people they got to do it was perfect. And
Cool.
the art, I love all the art. I love everything. So I wish they would have had a white cover, but it's okay. They can't do it for every issue.
Right. Jay, what would you rate Creepshow in Love #1?
I would give it a 4. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good.
There it is.
What would have made it a 5 for you? What would have made it a 5 for you?
I think there are some points where I'm like, the art could have been cleaner. Like, you look at Mercy as like that's some of Mercandolfo's like finest work. And here we're not getting her finest. We're getting good, like really good work, but not her finest.
There is like a filter over the panels.
A filter?
Yes,
yeah,
there is.
It's a little hazy.
Yeah.
It's that. It's
Is that intentional? You think, or what? What?
Definitely.
It
I
is.
Yeah. For the one I read, it's intentional because they don't want you. I read a review copy, and they don't want you,
to
posting it,
post it,
and so it had like
a watermark.
disclaimers and a watermark and a filter.
Well, I think there's
Right.
also a filter because the psychopath is like, from his point of view, stuff gets weird.
Yeah, like the way he sees the world, so that was one of my experience. Like, if I were to be an ungrateful motherfucker, like, the review copy you gave us is like, ugh, like, how you want me to judge a book like that? Like, but I'm not gonna do that. So I did buy my own copy, and because I'm like, when it said like, oh, not final art. No, I'm like, no, I want to see what the final art is. Like, I can't review it without final art, And I get it. Like, they make those ahead of time, so we're on a delay in a sense by the time we get the book, but we just wanted to make sure to get it, in time. But so I compared the two, and they're more or less the same, which is like, what? Let's get rid of the watermark for us, because the art is like, there is a haze with the serial killer, and then there's a watermark on top, and you can't distinguish between the two in the review copy. So in my own personal copy, I was like, okay, this is what it's supposed to look like. Yeah, it's like I felt like I wouldn't be able to judge the art with all the disclaim the warnings and watermarks, so I could judge the story but not the art. So I did go and was able to buy my own digital copy, just to make sure I can judge that. And that was an artistic choice that they did with the haze because of his perception of reality of the world, which plays into that story. Yeah.
Maybe for next week, show Jay the final book. Maybe he'll give it
Is
an
it
extra half
Mercy
point.
good?
Look, with Mirka, I love Mirka. I would never talk crap about Mirka, but we've all read comics where it's not the style. She does them in different styles, and it's not what we like. Like Paprika. This is more like Paprika style, Sweet Paprika style,
Even
not
Sweet
Mercy
Paprika,
style.
I think, is like a better looking book.
Yeah, I think we should show Jay like the final version, and then make a decision on that.
Because I was like, I mean, you've read almost every of her books too. Like, this is more like Sweet Paprika style, right? Than like.
Yeah, it's just tough because that haze. Like I noticed that too. But we have watermarked review, and I saw that there's a haze because it's the way he sees the world, and then a watermark on top of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't remember a watermark.
No, because you bought your own version. we got it from from Image. Image sent us like, thank you Image for sending us. Yeah, because we wanted to make sure to read it, but it's like, what if it sells out at the comic shop or they don't order enough? Like, we had planned to review it, so Larry reached out to them and they gave us a copy to read.
Like
but
the copy they gave us literally has stamped on it, not final, do not share. That's why we're not putting it. Like when we're showing stuff, is Mo putting up the one he bought?
Yeah, digitally. Like... Yeah. So and again, thank you for that. Like, I was able to make a judgment on the story, but to make the judgment on art, I did have to get my own. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Also, I'm gonna rate it a 4. Like I liked it. look. Apparently so.
No, I thought it worked anyway.
So, all right, let's pivot to our favorite couples in comics. Let's talk about it real quick. What I'm thinking is, do you all want to just maybe list like your top 2 couples, and then we talk about why after everybody's out there?
Let's do that. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, cool. Hecht, I don't know that you knew that this was gonna happen beforehand or anything like that, but off top,
Yeah, I remember you talked about it, but I didn't think about it.
Oh, okay. off top, if you were like, who your top 2 couples in comic books? What would you say, just off the top?
Off the top, I'd
Yeah,
probably say like Mary Jane and Peter Parker.
Okay.
And fucking Superman and Lois.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like off the top that would be a lot of people's answers. Yeah. So I could I'm not mad at that at all. Like, you know, like
I mean, you let me think
hard.
About it.
Right, it's hard to
let
go
me think about it. It'd be
else.
Like Batman and Selena Kyle, but I mean, I've never considered them a couple, even when they were a couple.
That could be a Creepshow comic.
They actually got married, didn't they? Or were supposed to almost get married, right?
Yeah.
No, I never.
Fake out marriage.
I'm still behind in my reading, so I haven't gotten that far.
Oh man, spoilers! All right,
I like Invincible and that chick that raped him.
Oh Jesus, Mo! Golly, man.
What season is that? I haven't gotten there.
That's like issue 48 or something, or 32.
I know the book number. The book number is 110.
Oh, 110. All right.
Yeah. So, Jay, what would be your top 2 couples in comics?
Well, my number 1 is the couple from Mysterious Girlfriend X. So Akira Tsubaki and Makoto Arabe.
Okay.
Mysterious Girlfriend X is a manga I read a while ago.
Okay.
We didn't say we could use mangas.
Look, key, like you're always saying they're comics.
Yeah, but no,
they are comics.
Yeah. But I did pick a manga one too.
Okay. Cool. And what was your other one, Jay?
I didn't have like a other one.
Jay's like, that's it. That's what you get.
Like,
okay.
No, it's just not. I don't know. Like, I'm into shipping, but I mostly deal with like crack ships.
I don't know what that means. Like, what's a?
Ships that like non-canon.
I thought that later they're on drugs when they love.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what a crack ship is. Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Like, I think my mom was in a crack ship with my stepdad.
Listen, Oz, what would be your top 2 couples?
I guess no surprise, the top one is Nightwing Batgirl. Mm-hmm. But the number 2 is Constantine Zatanna. Because that's just fucked up. Like, Constantine will tell you, like, you get with me, your life is fucked, but I still love you, so let's get together.
Yeah. Mo, what were your top 2?
I know him bringing up Constantine. Like, there's that like around like issue 27 or so, where the Constantine starts dating a single mother and like just wants life with like a family life, and then it gets ruined, taken from him. Like, I don't even know her name, but that might be like, if he can't make it work there, he can't make it work with Zatanna either. So it's like that is definitely a heartbreak story to read on Valentine's Day if you're into heartbreak. But
is this your number 2 or
no? Like, Oz just made me think about it.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
But my number 1 is it's the Gwen Stacy Spider-Man. You know, like that, and then but I was trepidatious, if I could use that word here, to say that, because I also I just watched and I rewatched it again this morning, was the Naruto movie, and it's essentially a romantic movie about him and Hinata. Mm-hmm. And how they get like to Boruto, and I cried again, you know, because that shit's like their romance in this movie is what saves the world, you know. Yeah. And I don't know if you watched it there. I told you to watch it, but I don't know if you did. And so that's it's a great movie. It's and it kind of like, I try to watch Boruto without finishing Shippuden, so I don't know what happened to Shippuden. And because I'm cool like that, But then I'm like, man, if there's stuff like this in Shippuden, I should be watching that. You know?
Shippuden is
Exactly,
fantastic.
the last is a Shippuden movie, and man, like that romance, like even like, cause it's still like Naruto's a weird dude, you know, like
Mhm.
he's fucked to the he like talk about mommy issues and shit, and he's the devil, you know, and it's like how the fuck could he love anybody? But he has impulse to like the chick he likes, but then there's a chick that loves him for who he is, you know, and he never realizes it. And in this movie, he realizes it, and he realizes that he does love her too. And it's like, man,
Yeah.
so that for me, like I think honestly, like as much as I've been a Spider-Man fan my whole life, I think I'm gonna shift them over, and Naruto and Hinata is my number one. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen.
Especially
Yeah.
I didn't
especially
know
after
we
that
could do
movie, like if you gotta
cartoons.
watch that movie, you know.
What's the name of the
What'd you
movie?
say, Jay?
I
It's
didn't
called
know
The
we
Last.
could do cartoons.
Well, technically it's manga, but I don't know if that even was a manga, but it's manga characters. But yeah.
Yeah, but it's an anime movie, right?
Well, the one that cemented that for me, yeah, is so. I mean,
Right.
you could do cartoons too, man. I mean, you could do Rick and Morty. Yeah, you can do whatever you want, man.
Rick and Morty. That's
And
nasty.
fucking Stolas and Blitz
Yeah.
from Hell of a Boss would be my number 2.
There it is.
Those two are great. Like, they're so chaotic and terrible. Like, I love them together.
Although something tells me that if I watch Invincible, if I would have watched Invincible, I might have had a different number 1, number 2 or 3. You know, like,
Actually, him and Eve are actually a decent couple.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Well, from what I saw in the recap, where the future or alternate reality one says, "Look, just cut the shit. Tell her you love her, or tell her you don't, but just cut the shit." Like somebody that could tell you that the only people that love you the most could tell you shit like that. So, like, holy fuck, what's going on with them? Like, and then I didn't get to see any of that yet. So I gotta go back.
But you read the comic, right? Or no?
Yeah, but not enough. Like not enough. Yeah, I have.
I like them. I like the relationship in the comic.
Yeah, no, they're great in the comic too.
Yeah.
So for me, my number, I was like thinking hard about this just because I was like, man, like well, like what do I really like? And there were a lot of like runner-up type stuff for me. I will say.
Let me guess. Let me guess. Let me guess.
No, look, I know what you're gonna guess. Look, I know what you're gonna guess. And look, but guess anyway, because I know what you're gonna guess, but you're gonna be wrong. Go.
Jean Grey, Cyclops, and Wolverine throuple.
That's so funny. Like I did consider that. No, I did consider that.
That's number 3.
Right. But honestly, when it came down to it, like if like what got inched out that I was surprised by, because I was like, dude, you know what? I really like that particular version of that couple was actually Spider-Man and Mary Jane, but like the current Ultimate Universe Spider-Man Mary Jane.
Oh,
like that couple, like they just feel very healthy. You know what I mean? Yeah. I like that version of their couple a lot. Like and don't get me wrong, like Spider-Man and Mary Jane are classic, but
yeah,
I like 6 Spider-Man
but
and Mary
you
Jane.
didn't renew your vows, right?
No, I did not read.
Yeah, you should check that out, because I feel like Ultimate Spider-Man and Mary Jane here, like that's almost like a continuation of Renew Your Vows.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah. So
right.
That foundation, Dan Slott did that with them there, but now it's different stories, different types of stories. They're in different stages of their lives, and it is different people, but that dynamic is similar there too. So so I think you should check that out. Yeah. Okay. And she's got powers in that one. So.
But ultimately, my number 2 couple was actually Apollo and Midnighter. And my and my number 1 is actually Cyclops and Emma Frost. Like
I had a feeling.
Yeah.
You were gonna go there.
Yeah, because
Frost over Jean or Madeline.
Yeah, dude, 100%. Like, and that was the thing. Like, I was a little shocked myself because my mind, of course, automatically went to Cyclops and Phoenix, of course. But I was like, you know what, though? I don't know if that's like one of my favorite, like, because honestly, look, and I hate to say it, but in a lot of ways, like Cyclops and Jean's relationship is kind of toxic.
Well, yeah, because he's an orphan. And like he doesn't know how he has mommy issues and daddy issues he's never really resolved. Like he had to deal with them with Xavier. Like he looks like Xavier for his dad, but he never had anybody for his mom, like a surrogate for his mom. So so that definitely that the Jean, like he worked his issues out through Jean with Jean to get that's what makes. And then Emma knows how fucked up he is and is okay with it. That's what
it boils down to. I feel like like their relationship is the version of like the relationship I like for both of them, because like you said, like Emma understands who he is and accepts him for like his flaws, and I feel like Cyclops does the same thing with Emma. Where it's like, he gets that, she's not like, a perfect person, and that's okay. And like, and like, don't get me wrong, it's like I'm not like knocking it, like, because Cyclops and Jean Grey are together now, like Scott and Jean are together now, but again, it's like Jean will just like, I don't want to say just take off, because usually she's dying, but she sure isn't. She'll take her time to come back, and when she comes back, it's not even like she's like, oh, okay, well, let's pick up where we left off. Like, sometimes she'll be like, I need a minute. It's like, what, like, so and then but this, like, but right now, like, literally she's like on like a space sabbatical. And Cyclops just at home holding down the fort for all of mutants, and it's
that's too much. Yeah.
So
that's not Again, you said it's like a toxic relationship because she can get to do that. He ain't doing shit. He's like, I gotta nurse these kids myself. Yeah.
So,
but Emma's like, oh, like puts she put a mental block. So it's like I want to see your eyes when we fuck. So she put a mental block so he could open his eyes and not this. Yeah, but even if she like turned to diamond, but she turned his cock to diamond. Like, bro.
Look, if she says she wants to see my eyes, I'm taking her from behind.
Yeah. No, but she wanted to see his eyes, so she put a psychic block in his brain so that when he opened his eyes, the concussive blast wouldn't come out, so they could make love like that. Like that's. And that's a loving thing to do too, because that's one of his like hangups. Like, like he never feels like he's safe, or he can't keep the people around him safe if he just takes off whatever shield he had, So,
yeah. But yeah, man. But there's a lot of good couples in comics. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I wanted to bring up Hal Jordan and Carol Ferris, just because their love, like, just recently created a whole new Lantern Corps.
Is that where which one is that one? The depressing
Sorrow.
One? The Sorrow.
Sorrow was engaged to Carol, and then Hal shows up, and
we all have honorable mentions, because we got like Al Simmons and Wanda,
Nah, fuck that. He died.
Hey, but he did whatever it took to come back. Yeah.
Did he though? Did he?
Yeah,
he made a deal with the devil. That was it, and then forgot about it.
Yeah, like the worst person in the universe, and he's like, I just want to see her again.
He saw her.
Yeah, again, that's all he could do because the devil fucked him over. His relationship was with the devil, not her. Yeah. He got fucked by the devil. But
it's funny
also, like, for me, another honorable mention is from the comic book Steampunk. If you could get a hold of that, like Fiona and Cole, like this dude literally like traveled time and fucked up a whole universe to like give her a cure for the plague, like and change it into like this weird crazy universe, like where his heart, like he has to, how Tony Stark has a heart arc reactor, he has a steam engine, he's like Iron Man, but like real iron and coal. Good clean coal.
I know another that came to mind for me that I was like, you know what, I kind of like that relationship, even though if you could call it that, is Bruce Wayne and Talia al Ghul. Like when they hook up, like that's usually a cool time.
Yeah,
and it's like
I do feel he was
obviously
raped by her, but but
he was raped.
I mean, they took his genetic material, but he still fucked her for fun.
Yeah, he fucked her. Like,
yeah, totally. But
she just
still took
saved
his
the
genetic
condom.
material.
He was still drugged.
Yeah,
it's a toxic relationship as well.
Another one that I was like, dude, that was actually a pretty cool relationship too, even though it's like it doesn't get a lot of play, is friggin' the Strongs, Tom Strong.
Oh yeah,
I like that was like good stuff, man. Like I'm like, man, like it's crazy that like I feel like people don't talk about those books.
No, not as
the
much.
way they should.
Nobody thought of the Fantastics, huh?
Well,
I did, but I don't like their
Alan
relationship.
Moore, yeah. Well, Alan Moore did when he did Tom Strong, because that's
right.
more like if you read like Jonathan Hickman's Sue Storm, and their relationship is more like Tom Strong's relationship with his wife, But definitely, like I did think about the Storm, but it's like they're really like low key, and again, Pedro Pascal, like that's the wrong casting choice because he can't do that. Like he is the dude that can be like just how Gene leaves on space sabbatical. Like he goes into moments of thought where it's like it could be like 50 days, and his brain's just disconnected from his body, just processing math problems or future problems, and he don't care what his wife needs or his kids need. She's like you're. And even like, with the modernization of them, they do Sue Storm to be more of a, like how he is intelligent, she's socially savvy, can handle him and interpret him to other people, which I think is great. Like I love that that's how they connect, but it's still not a great relationship for him. That's why Doom, that's why Namor thinks he can get her.
Right. He's like, he don't treat you right.
It's like, yo soy el niño sin amor, pero tú necesitas amor.
Right.
So
there it is.
he can always, he knows he can get her, and he don't have to be smart. He don't have to drown the world. He could just say, "Hey, just dip your toes in the water, baby." Because of that, because of how so their relationship isn't really. They're a great family. And they work together, but they don't have a great relationship. Like that's why the Black Panther in Storm had to take over, because she's like, fuck this. After Civil War, we take a space sabbatical together, and you don't have to think about shit, motherfucker. Like that was their that was their couples therapy in a sense, and they had their own adventures and shit too, and it became the Future Foundation from that. But she had the wherewithal to do that instead of just getting a little spicy chile from Namor.
Cool, man. All right, listen. Look, here's to the great couples in comics. Hopefully, there'll be a lot more that we'll get in the future. It'll be interesting to see if any new romances pop up in the days to come.
I know I'm working on a romance with Magic in the Midnight Suns, but it ain't working.
You gotta work hard. Hard.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm friendship level 0. Like I'm not even in the friendship.
It's like you gotta Magic is a little
well, she's mourning because of what happened to Wanda, like the way that Wanda got taken out, and everybody's just cool with it,
And you're right, and it's a bit like the answers you have to give her are a little anti-intuitive. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they're the darker answers. So, yeah.
What? Wait, what'd you say, Alice?
Midnight Suns made me more of a Magic fan. Like I knew she was there, but until I played that game, I was like, you know what? I kind of like this chick.
Yeah, no, she's awesome.
She's always been good, but like that game really showcases like a personality, like more than the powers and stuff. The utilitarianism of her, and there's a series out now. Like issue 2 came out today for Magic. So I don't. All the covers are Scott Campbell covers. So I've been buying them. I haven't read them, but I've been buying them.
She's also a New Mutant, so you can watch that.
I mean, I did watch it. Yeah, like I hope they don't.
She was the best
her.
part of it.
I hope they
no,
never
she was good in
recast-
it. Yeah.
I hope they never recast that. Like that's who I see when I play the game.
There it is. All right. Hey, Hecht, why don't you give us some final thoughts, buddy?
Final thoughts. I don't know. Read comics. Read Valentine comics. Read stuff about your favorite couples in comics, like Deadpool and Death.
Nice. Oscar, give me some final thoughts.
Yeah, with Valentine's Day coming up, I can't wait to go see the Captain America movie with a big red, throbbing, veiny Hulk. It's definitely a love movie, and I'm glad I'm watching it by myself.
There it is.
He's gonna see his old red throbbing Hulk. I'm worried about this Red Hulk thing because they already did Planet Hulk wrong in the MCU, you know. So when they do Red She-Hulk, that's probably gonna be wrong too. But yeah, I still want to see. I'm not as excited about Brave New World as I am about the Fantastic Four movie, but I guess I will see it. But yeah, that's not gonna be my Valentine's Day thing.
There it is. For the entire Fantastic Forum, thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We do appreciate you. We'll be back next week. We hope that, for all of you that are coupled up, we hope you have a good Valentine's Day. For those of you that aren't coupled up, we hope you have a great day as well. Go out and meet some people. It'll be good. It'll be a good time. So, with that said, we are the Fantastic Forum. Good night.